podcast where I, Amy Brown, ask fun and interesting people what they're nerdy for. I have been away. I've been away for like 4 to 6 weeks. I didn't tell anybody I wasn't. I've been dropping episodes weekly for a year and a half.
Over a year.
Well, weekly for a year and a half, even over the holidays. And then I hit a wall, and I was laying on the floor, and I'm like stressed out, and I was like, Joel's like, why don't you take a break? We can take a break. And two people were supposed to record back to back in one day, and they both canceled, and I couldn't get over it.
Couldn't handle it.
I couldn't handle it. Okay, so I took a break.
And dyed your hair.
And then I dyed my hair's dark now.
You look great.
You're very nice.
You look great.
A lot's changed. What I'm trying to say is I've been away for 6 weeks. A lot's changed. I accidentally dyed my hair black, so now I have an alter ego. I'm trying to name her. I'm thinking Shmamie. Or like it's Wednesday Addams energy. I was trying to go back to my natural color, and to be fair, I do have this color hair somewhere on my body, just never on my head before, and it's fine. I'm trying.
Fuzz.
What is your natural hair color?
It's a light brown.
Okay.
With little highlights in it.
Isn't that what we have going on?
You know what? Every time my mom sees me, she's like, "Your hair's still dark." So it's not back yet. But I'm trying to embrace it. Also, I got an iPhone. I've been an Android my whole life, and I got an iPhone. I just want to see if peace in the Middle East is possible, if I can have an iPhone and my husband's Android and we can still get along.
No.
But there's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of changes. No. I'm perimenopausal, too, so my brain doesn't shift gears. My brain is not it's not pliable anymore. But so I got an iPhone, and I also had bone-crushing depression. Oops-a-daisy. It was the season, late summer was the season for bone crushing depression, and I figured out what had happened. What had happened was, I'll let you talk in a second, Vas. 1 second.
I don't want to talk.
You don't want to talk. I was on hormonal replacement therapy for my perimenopause, and my cholesterol went up, and I got scared, and I stopped taking it. And then slowly enough, I didn't recognize it. The anxiety and depression snuck back in. Also, my eczema and my dry eyes and my dry skin and my aches and pains and my muscle weakness and my fatigue and then brain fog. And then I was just lying on the floor in my bedroom trying to get people to come do my podcast.
Wait, so that's because you stopped taking the hormones?
I stopped taking it like in April. And it's...
Did you cold turkey?
I cold turkey.
Did you not talk to a doctor?
No. Oops-a-daisy. So now I'm on all the hormones, and I'm feeling better, and I'm cognitively better, and you don't have to suffer, women of a certain age out there. If you are, I was just going through Vas. Okay, I'm going to introduce you, but then we're going to talk about my medicine cabinet.
We need to talk about it.
Yeah, so my friend Vas came. He is ripping the Band-Aid off.
I'm the first one.
You're the first one back with new hormoned up Amy.
Which is fun.
Can I hump your leg later?
You can.
Okay, perfect. And
safe leg.
The safe leg.
Yeah.
Do you have a bad leg? How old are you?
Don't hump this leg.
You're Latino. You can never tell how old a Latino
never gonna
is.
know.
So Vas, I say Vas.
It's Vas.
It's Vas?
It's Vas.
It's Vas?
Yeah.
I was saying it right. Vas?
You have been saying it right.
Yeah, Vas.
Many have not.
Still haven't gotten ADHD meds, I see.
Yeah.
No, I was going to try to do that to see if that was going to help me with the depression.
This is like being inside a ping pong machine.
Yeah.
Like pinball.
Yeah, she's like, the biggest change was I dyed my hair. Oh, also, I did take myself off all my hormones, and then it drastically made me crash. But also, Voos, what do we got here?
Vas Sanchez.
I don't think you've technically introduced him yet.
Okay, so this is... I've unofficially labeled this episode Serious Actor Episode.
Inside the actor studio style.
Inside the act.
I definitely think serious actor. Like,
yes, you're
a good actor, but I don't. Vas is very serious.
You got it. I
man.
went to your IMBD page.
IMDb,
and I was looking. You've been in so much stuff. I knew the Cobra Kai.
Yes.
I knew the Better Call Saul.
Yep.
But there's a bunch of stuff in there.
I forgot you were in Better Call Saul.
Are you a working actor?
I think you could call it that. I tend to stay on set when I can. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about you in a second. Anyway. I went through my medicine cabinet and my medicine closet.
Closet.
When you get older, you need a closet.
Medicine closet.
And I was taking out all of the eye drops, eye spray, I'm like, oh yeah, this is all my perimenopause stuff that I was treating. And then I went to the allergist. I had 3 different sets of patch testing. It took months. I had all this stuff happening. Tennis elbow on both elbows, sciatica out the wazoo. I've been going to like PT, orthopedic. I've been going to all these doctors trying to fix all these problems that are wrong with my body. And what my body is missing is hormones. And that's why it's reacting in all these different places. And, okay,
so did you end up getting like, when you went to the allergist, do you have like a lot of allergies? That patch series is a pretty in-depth thing. Did you find out anything?
They're like, nah, you're probably just allergic to something. We don't know what it is.
They're so good. Doctors are so good.
It has a Latin name. They gave it a Latin name, so it sounds official. But I was allergic to the lipstick. Joel knows that. But I wear lipstick on my podcast so it can match with my pottery. Oh.
Yeah, she has to take off she'll put it on like right before and then has to take it off afterwards because she's
allergic.
But when I'm taking my testosterone, I don't have a reaction.
Wow.
Ding. What's happening? Okay. So anyway, if you're suffering out there, I'm going to get a lady on here to talk about it. But go talk to, call me and I'll text me.
I won't be the one to tell you.
Vas, how's your vagina feeling?
Pretty good, I would say. I would think. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fresh.
Let's talk about being an actor.
Let's talk about it.
Did you go to acting school?
Do you want to actually introduce Vas?
I did. He was on IMDb page.
IMDb.
He's on Better Call Saul. He's on Cobra Kai.
I am Vas Sanchez.
Vas Sanchez. And he's also a stand-up comedian in Los Estados Unidos. He's in Atlanta. And you're kind and you're funny. And you're very good to stand. If you are nervous in a room and you don't know anybody and you have social anxiety, you go stand next to this guy.
I got you.
Which is funny because I feel like the characters you play in all these TV shows are kind of like rough guys.
That's what I get. I get a lot of rough. I get a lot of like gruff looking.
Gruff, yeah. Like do you would you hear like gang esque?
I've got the first role that I ever booked. And it filmed, but it never made it to the series, was the show Prison Break. It was like season 3, I think. I can't even remember because I didn't know anything about the acting world then. I was just excited to get in it. And the role that I got was Fat Mexican Gangster 6.
Yeah, Fat Mexican Gangster.
Could just be gangster.
Number 6.
Could have just been a gangster, but layer in all that good stuff. Oh my God. Fat Mexican Gangster number 6.
Number 6. Well, okay, which is iron, which shows how good of an actor you are. Because if I was going to cast you in anything, it'd be The Great British Bake Off. Because I
would have loved that.
You are kind, you're supportive, you're warm, you're working there, making sure everyone feels comfortable.
And none of my bakes are ever stodgy.
Go spongy.
Spongy and never stodgy.
Never dodgy.
I'd love to do that show. I watched that show. It's like a comfort. It's like a hug.
It's a hug, and you know a lot about food too.
I do.
I think you would do really well on there.
I'm terrible at baking though. Like as all my years as a chef, I can do anything else. But when you give me like a recipe to bake, I'm awful at it.
I forgot you were a chef too.
You don't have to write that down now.
Oh, I take notes on all my friends. Put them in my files.
I was a chef, yeah.
You were a chef. That's really cool. Okay, so it was said that you were born in the Highlands, North Carolina on your website. And then on your IMDb page, it says Franklin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I want to see your passport. No, I want to see your birth certificate.
It's insane, honestly. I am from Highlands, North Carolina. I was born...
Okay.
I was born in Franklin, North Carolina. That's where it's next to Highlands.
It says Tennessee on your IMDb.
And what's weird is when I submitted all my info to IMDb, I don't know why I always feel like this need to be so like official about where you're born and where you're from and stuff.
It's because Obama.
I guess. Yeah. I was just like, well, I shouldn't say I'm from Highlands. I'm from Highlands, North Carolina. But then in my head, I'm like, well, tell them where you were actually born, though. So I put Franklin, North Carolina, and of course they were just like, oh yeah, Franklin, North Carolina. If you look up Franklin, North Carolina, you're not going to find anything. It's a little tiny dot 2 hours north of here. Franklin, Tennessee has a much bigger reputation outside of Nashville.
Okay. I've been to the Highlands, North Carolina.
We just call it Highlands.
Saying
the Highlands is like saying Houston Street in New
York.
The
Ukraine. I've been there a ton, and I saw absolutely zero Latino people there. Explain yourself.
Only one.
How did you? What happened?
It's a wild story. That's a crazy thing.
Okay. The Highlands is all rich, old, white people.
Yes.
My husband and I tried to go for a romantic getaway weekend there. First of all, we felt like spring chickens. We're like, we're on our first hips, and then they had all the food there was like cream sauce. It was all like from the 80s. Like what was cool in the 80s was what the cuisine was. where did you live? What was
So
happening?
the interesting thing about it is very much. You read Harry Potter at all? Do you know?
Yeah.
So you know how you can't see the Thestrals until you've experienced
It's
death,
sadness.
right?
Yeah, you can't see the Latinos
You
until you
can't
miss
see
a burrito.
any of the brown people there because you're not poor, and you can't see all the work. But all the cream sauces have to be made by somebody, and that's where I come in.
That's where you came in.
No, my parents were from New York. My dad is Puerto Rican. My mom was Greek, and my mom's brother found Highlands in between because they were like between Miami and New York all the time. And he found Highlands, this like super cool little mountain town, this little resort town. And he's like, I want to open a restaurant here. So they moved there, opened a restaurant, then had me. And yeah, it was very fun growing up looking like
Do you
this.
Fish?
No.
Are you a hiker?
Nah.
Okay. So
Not really. I mean, you kind of have to be, in some degrees.
Can you call a beaver to come to the
I
lake?
can call a beaver.
How many people do you know that can call a beaver?
I was just shooting shit. So here, I'm riffing. I'm
shooting
riffing.
shit.
I'm rusty. I haven't been talking nonstop into a microphone for 6 weeks.
Sometimes I don't know. Is this Amy's like wealth divide that is making her not understand her guest, or what? Because there are a lot.
I'm happy to like bridge the gap. I'm
Yeah.
happy to like show you what it is because like Highlands is a wild place. Like to when I tell people that I'm from Highlands, the disbelief is immediate.
I couldn't believe it.
People are like, that's impossible. No one actually is from there.
I survived almost only on Tex-Mex, and I was at the Highlands, and I was like, I'm gonna die here.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a wild place, man. Yeah, we owned a restaurant, many other restaurants in town. A lot of them, yes, still very much the same menus, which is kind of quaint and fun in a cool way.
old people love that. They don't want
do.
change. They want the same
country
menu.
clubs are amazing. I did not golf. I should have. I was terrible at golf. But like that's another huge thing in Highlands is golf. Golf, hiking, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
do you do that?
Missed all that stuff.
No,
Nope, didn't.
just hung out in the kitchen the whole time.
Yeah, mostly just developed an alcohol problem.
Well, that's
And drugs,
par.
because like it's real boring, when you're a
Yeah.
kid and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna do.
How many kids were in
all
your
the
high school?
things. That's funny. So it's not a high school; it's K through 12. And
One building.
One building, and I grew up with everyone from my kindergarten class, and I graduated at the same time. So like everybody for 13 years of our lives were
together.
together.
How many?
And we were one of the biggest classes with 48 students.
48 students. No
48
wonder
students.
you're so friendly.
And my brother had one of the middle amounts of students. He had like 15 and 4 dropped out.
Oh,
so
no.
it's just like, damn. But yeah, that was our big class. So when I talk to folks that like obviously grew up suburbs and cities and stuff, they're like, I had a real small class. We only had like 700 kids in our class. We only had 1,000 kids. And I'm like, I had 48 kids. I can
like
tell you like their birthmarks.
That's a small dating pool right there.
yeah, it was like
Buddy.
kissing a sister.
But that's the thing. I didn't get to do any of that in high school. I didn't date. I didn't do any of that stuff because it was so small.
Guessing your sexuality?
I was brown, and they were like, I don't get it. And it was like I was exotic to a degree, but then I got fat, and that's it just goes the other direction.
Yeah, then you're bad exotic.
then you like,
Nope,
but that's
not
like
good.
perfect sitcom material.
It is. It's great. That's why I became a comedian. I think because what else are you gonna do?
Do you like to go back to
I go.
Highlands?
My sister currently lives in my parents' old house, and is
it worth $1 bajillion now?
It is worth more than we expected. Definitely not a bajillion. But she's a teacher at the K through 12 school.
At the one
school.
the one room school. I imagine like a little like a white building
the
like
old
from
schoolhouse.
Okay, so because I know for like most high schools you have like different periods and different teachers.
Yeah.
Since it's K through 12, like is there just the 11th grade teacher?
No, so the high school is there's a wing. There's like a middle school wing, a K through 6 wing, and then the high school wing. And in the high school wing, you've got like, so some teachers are like, I teach 9th and 11th grade English, and then another teacher is like, I teach 10th and 12th grade English. Okay. And then like so then each year you're kind of switching off and on, and you're rotating throughout. But yeah, it's a trip. Yeah,
it's quaint.
small.
It's
Very,
quaint.
very, very quaint.
That's
Very
lovely.
quaint.
Okay, so we got to the bottom of that. I just never met anyone who was from Highlands.
I am from Highlands, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
And yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you're okay. I feel like you're then you're walking through life looking a certain way.
Yeah.
Being cast as a thug.
Always.
And you're the nicest person.
Yeah.
And you look Latino. You don't speak Spanish.
I speak some Spanish.
Okay. Carla is your wife.
My wife speaks more Spanish than I do.
Look how you shit talk.
Only because like she studied, like she actually went. I did take Spanish in college because for some odd reason the way it worked is if you took an advanced language class, it counted as a math credit. So I could. I honestly don't know how it worked in my college, but like it made it so that I didn't have to take math. I have skated by my whole life not taking advanced mathematics like at all.
You don't need
Did you go to college in a one schoolroom house too?
So it was one town over.
Was it next to?
It was one town over. I went from Highlands, North Carolina, not one town, it was like 2 towns over. Before you get to Asheville, there's a small town called Brevard, and I went to Brevard College.
Okay.
So, and that was like a music school, liberal arts school. And I went there to do music because I thought I was one of the world's greatest drummers, but I was in a very small town and was one of the only drummers. So.
These are facts. I'm from a small town, and you just have to be better than the other people in your small town.
And I mean, as a Latino, people were like, "Oh, he's like special," you know. And then I went to this school, and there was like 38,000 other Latino drummers that looked at me like, "Yeah, bro, you were playing at like an 8th grade level," you know. And I was like, "Oh," and I also could not read music.
Yes.
But I have like near perfect, so like. I had to go through this whole program of like learning how to read. It was insane. I ended up changing to theater.
That's easier
after a year.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that explains why you're such a good actor.
I did theater. I double majored in production and performance. So I learned all the things about lighting and sound and stage, and then all the things about being and finding your light, being on stage. You know, all
we gotta find your light. I have to make sure my hair looks good in this episode because I'm still making friends with it. So Joel, if you see something, say something. Sorry to bring me into it.
I like it.
But lighting is important, finding your light.
Yeah, I had to do all that stuff. That was my, going from one mountain town to another mountain town.
So when did you start doing stand-up? Because I feel like doing the theater, you get comfortable on stage.
I think it's fun talking about all this and how it goes back. I actually took this. Man, it sounds so small town. Like I never got out of this area. In 8th grade, the Brevard College had a summer camp that I went to.
Did the 4-H do it?
Right? So kinda. So like I went to this summer camp at Brevard College before I had ever even thought about going to college. And there was a stand-up comedy class during that.
Whoa.
And I did this like stand-up comedy class.
Who taught it?
I forget this guy's name, but he was from
Jesus?
Beaufort, South Carolina, and he was like fine. Like knowing my comedy brain now, I'm like, no. This poor guy was just like, I'll teach this thing and get money over the summer. But it was an interesting class. And then like when I ended up getting into Brevard College, I took a stand-up class there as well. And it was like, I just remember like it's something that's so interesting that you can teach it, but you can't really you either got it or you don't got it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think there's skills around it. There's like what to do with the mic, a writing,
fundamentals,
tradition
100%.
Of your day, a schedule.
Hold the mic between your legs. Make it look like your dick.
How much?
That's
How much
$20 right there.
Swinging around on the cord and make an obvious dick reference.
And then, like, how much do you have to actually cut out that actually, like,
Editing.
jokes that worked, you still have to cut it out.
Editing.
The editing, that's a hard lesson.
See, and they don't teach you any of that stuff. Like, I felt
you
like
have to
all
talk to a comedian.
all the comedy classes I took, it was literally like none of this is like actual. Like, this isn't. When I became a comic, I was like, none of that stuff was fundamental. Like, I didn't take any of that with me, and it's nothing against those professors and teachers, but it was very like, you can't really teach it until you do it. You just got to get out on stage and start seeing if what you said in that group was funny.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that.
Yeah. And then see if it's funny all over.
And see if everybody thinks you're funny. But that's not always the way.
Amy, you could dangle the mic on the cord between your legs and either make it like you're birthing or say it's a tampon.
Yes, a tampon. That's a good one. I just feel like
I quit producing this show. I'm going to go teach comedy classes.
I think though you have to go to a place that has a good mic because those things will fall out of their wires lickety split. Don't use I would never
don't do that.
Don't expect to have a cord because you'll get one that's a cordless. I used to have a cord joke. Then cordless mic can't do that.
Wireless, and I'll say this to anybody watching who is a producer of stand-up: please stop wireless mics. Please stop it. Like, please.
Unless you're going to spend thousands of dollars
on really, really, really good RFs that pick up microphones, but please,
are they terrible?
Just stop using wireless mics.
What's it like to be on a set? What's it like to be on a Netflix show?
Okay, shifting gears.
Sorry, I got excited.
No, I love that.
She doesn't think she has ADHD.
No, I have ADHD as well, so I just am following you up and down.
Yeah. But Amy was like, I don't think I have.
Did you ever see that video online of the two people that have Tourette's, and it's like an Uber driver, and the old guy gets in the car to take the Uber ride, and she's like, "Where are you going?" Shit, fuck, and he's like, fuck, and they both start yelling at each other, and he's like, "Do you have Tourette's?" And she's like, "Yes!" And they're both screaming, and I was like, "This is amazing." I feel like that right now. I feel like you and I are just ADHD all over the place.
The pinball is going.
What's it like to be on a set?
Bubbles.
I'll tell you, like, being on a set as
Do you
far
feel important, or is it very hierarchical? And you're like, I'm in my place, I'm over here, the big people are over there.
Both, but like there's sort of this like thing you kind of have to do, which is like it's like reading the room, like comedy, right? Like, you have to understand, like, it's like manifesting. I hate saying that, but it is. You have to be like, I'm no different than that guy, really and truly. He's just further ahead than I am.
Who are the
right?
famous people that you're pointing at in this?
In this scenario, I was on set with
Dish.
I don't care. They were all amazing people. I was on set with it was a movie, Office Christmas Party.
Ooh.
Which was super fun. My scene did not make it into the film. So
Fortune Feimster was in that?
Fortune was in that. I wasn't on set with Fortune that day. It was Olivia Munn. It was TJ Miller. And what's his name?
Did you get TJ?
Bateman. Chris Bateman.
Did you get TJ Miller's cards you can open for him?
Man, I will tell you, this story this is a wild time.
Okay, I'm settling in.
So, like, I get on set and they're having to, all of our trailers were parked in the Varsity lot. You know, the big lot that's next to the Varsity.
Uh-huh.
And the Varsity kind of was like, well, there was like a line that was crossed, so we had to move trailers. So they're coming knocking on all the trailer doors to be like, hey, I'm so sorry to inconvenience everyone. We have to move this trailer lot over like 10 feet or whatever.
Okay.
So everyone has to step out of their trailers while they go and hitch these trailers, and it's going to take like an hour. So all of the actors now are just like standing out in this
That's
weird
an
lot.
opportunity.
So I'm standing over here like a weirdo in the cafeteria by myself, and I look over there, and it's those actors. It's who I just mentioned, all in a cluster, all in a group.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I'm not just going to like stand over here and like get on my phone. I was like, I'm going to go stand with the other actors, right? So I walk over and I'm like, how's everybody doing? They're like, oh, hi. Oh, you're our local guy. I was like, yep, I'm local talent. And they're all introducing themselves as if I don't know who they all are. And they're all so nice. They're all so kind.
I'm excited that they get to meet you.
See,
and like,
thank you. And you have to take that energy to set with you. You have to be like, oh, you should be excited to meet me.
You're
I am
really good at talking to
equally
people.
important and fun, you know? Like, because I think what happens a lot of times is we see them as celebrities and that there's some sort of elevated thing. And honestly, there's only a handful that I've ever met that really like lean into that. Most of them are like, I wish you would have come and talked to me like a normal person because I'm just a normal person, you know? They just want to have a conversation that's like normal, and they don't want to go talk. Like, Jason Bateman doesn't want to sit there and talk about Arrested Development and Teen Wolf and everything he's done. He wants to talk about, where can I get a good crab cake in this city? You know what I mean?
You're the person to talk to for
and
that.
it was perfect. That's what he was looking for.
Chefs.
And I was like, oh, you came across the right guy.
Yeah.
And he was literally on the phone with his like agent or manager talking about, can you look up some restaurants for us and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I've never heard of that place. Well, I'll call you back. And he hangs up the phone. And I was like, not to interrupt or anything. What are you trying to do dinner wise? You know, and he was like, I don't know. I really want to get some good seafood, but I know we're landlocked over here. I was like, well, I've got a couple of recommendations for you if you want. I'm from here and I can talk to you about it. I used to be a chef. Mm-hmm. Well, then we get into this huge conversation. He's like, you need to just email me this list with all these details. I love this. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll email your assistant or whatever. And he goes, no, here's my email.
Oh, cool.
So I got his email, and I was like, I have Bateman's email.
What do you do with it?
I emailed him all the stuff.
And then what?
And then I left it alone.
And then you sent him your screenplay.
Yeah, and then, oops.
A weird attachment.
Attachment.
I know how like some people have like their email, like their have a great day or sent from an iPhone. This is just my screenplay. It's attached to the bottom of all my emails.
Screenplay. Sorry about that. All 9 of my screenplays. There they are.
Have you written screenplays? Do you
I have, but none of them are that like.
How about sitcoms?
I have not another. We're ADHDing here. The other thing I wrote essentially, and I don't want to. This is going to sound so like egotistical, but like before it came out, I essentially wrote The Bear before it was The Bear, and then right when my friend, my co-writer and someone I miss so dearly, she lives in Chicago now, and I wish she would come back to Atlanta. My other friend Amy, she and I wrote this show about our time in the restaurant industry, being like actors and performers and comedians.
Yes,
and it was. I mean, I'm still in love with the script. I still think it's got legs. And right when we were like going to get into pitch for it and everything, it was right before COVID and right before everything happened. The Bear came out, and I was like, well, we can't jump in the world now and be like, I got a show about a restaurant, because they're gonna be like, get out of here, bro. Like this has already been done. So all I can say is The Bear did kick the door open for the reception of something like this, and we're gonna tweak it a little, I think, and maybe keep working it. But I really love the script. We basically wrote like 2 seasons of it too, instead of just writing like a pilot or a spec. We wrote like
Show the arc, I would say.
I mean,
I don't know what that means. I just think I heard it somewhere in another podcast.
Arch your back. That's what you know.
Arch your back? Show the arc of the story? Okay.
But yeah, that was, so back to what you're saying. Time on set.
Okay.
So that day was one of those days.
Justin Bateman is producing all of your stuff moving forward.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, Bateman. So no, TJ Miller and I start chatting and hanging out and having a good old time. And he's like, so you're a comic? And I said, yeah. So he was like, well, let's do some shows tonight.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, let's do some shows tonight, you know? So we end up, he's like, where is there? There's a club around here, right? I was like, yeah, the Laughing Skull's right here. And he was like, cool, can you just like call and see if we can get on? And I was like, well, sure, no problem. So I like called Bob and I'm just like, hey, can we drop in? He's like, yeah, come through. So I come through, TJ lets me open for him. We end up doing a bunch of shows around town, having fun. TJ's great. Like he just let me do all kind of fun stuff with him. And then we actually ended up doing Ladies Night, right?
Yep.
You guys are in that.
Your show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, TJ Miller did it a couple times.
We jumped in with that one. He had like a wild panic attack after that.
Producer,
night,
why aren't you getting me more celebrities if you know all these people?
I don't know them. It's just that like
edit this out.
I
probably don't want TJ on the show right now.
Is he drinking?
He's
Is he having a hard time? Is he perimenopausal?
No.
He phases in and out.
He phases in and out.
Of
well, no,
his
because there is a bunch of Atlanta is interesting because people will come in town and they will be here for months to film.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, well, I am done by this time every day, or I have these off days. I want to go do shows. So you will get people doing drop-ins, and they don't really need to care about money because they're like, oh, I'm getting paid to be here.
Yeah, paid to be there.
So they're like, I literally just want to go work material, do that. Because, I mean, especially like, they'll hit us on like Vas or like Rodney and just be like, okay, cool. Hey, I have these nights off. Find shows. And then, of course, everyone's going to be like, yes to that. Because we've had so many big names.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's
so
fun.
I ran around with TJ, and like the most fun was at the time I was working at Empire State South. So that day I was on set when I met him. And I was like, yeah, I work at this restaurant down here, and the club's right here. And he was like, we had gone and done the early show. We were going to come back and do the later show. And in between, TJ goes, you want to go down to your restaurant and get drinks? And I was like, yeah. He's like, come on, it'll be fun. Oh. And I was like, yeah. So we walked down to Empire State South, walk in the door with TJ Miller on like a chill Thursday night or whatever. And everyone's like, what are you doing,
he sticks
TJ?
out in a room. He's a tall
very
guy,
tall.
big, crazy,
and he's
curly
his
hair.
energy is very big too.
Yeah.
Like
he does
not come in a room quietly.
You have that kind of voice too, that loud voice.
But he goes to the bar and he goes, all these cocktails look amazing. Let's do all of them. 2 of each. I was like, what are we doing?
Oh, no.
And they made all the cocktails. And
Red
he's like,
flag.
all right, come on, we got to go back to the show. And we were like,
oh, my God.
Drank all the cocktails, go back to the Skull.
You didn't live to tell the tale. You didn't die. Did you throw up that night?
I didn't throw up, but man, I was spinning. And when we get back to the Skull, sorry, I did not hit the table. When we get back to the Skull, Rob Corddry is there. They were filming.
Who's that?
I think Hot Tub Time Machine 2 or something.
Bald comic.
Yeah, he's like a really funny guy. Rob Corddry was there. And Christoph, what's his name? He plays Tormund Giantsbane in Game of Thrones. The big red-headed, red-bearded, that guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. It's Chris.
Is he
like
stand-up too?
Christopher Kivju. Christoph Kivju. He's not a stand-up, but he likes stand-up.
Okay.
And they were. This was when they were filming Fast 10 or Fast 9, one of those. And so he was also there. And Dave Bautista was also there. Who is you're like blank facing. Dave Bautista's like really big burly. He was just in Dune.
Did you see Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, wow.
He plays Drax. Because they were also filming Guardians.
Oh
so
my gosh.
everything was filming at the
Hollywood.
time. And I was with a celebrity at the right time to get into
that
this
circle.
little
Did you get all of their email addresses?
And so no. We did play dice at the bar at the Laughing Skull, which was really fun. Like we were all up front at the Vortex shooting dice.
Oh my gosh.
And like fake gambling on stuff. And that was like a really cool moment. But when I went back, I didn't realize it. TJ had me opening for him at the Skull. I did a few jokes. At the time, I had this bit about Puerto Ricans being like Dothrakis from Game of Thrones.
Dothrakis.
So I do this whole thing about being a Dothraki Puerto Rican, blah. I go backstage and in the little, not in the green room, but in the little sitting area, there's Christoph Kivju. And I was like, oh, man. And Batista's like, great set, man. And I was like, oh, thanks. And Kivju was like, I like that joke about the Dothraki, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? I was like, we drank too many cocktails.
Are you sure this happened, or was it a dream from all the cocktails? You were passed out in the gutter outside of Empire State.
I was just laying in the street like, what if I was a Game of Thrones character comic as well? But yeah, so what is it like to be on set? It's like that.
That's
sometimes.
exciting.
Or it's like Marvel when I was on the set for She-Hulk. That was
You were in She-Hulk?
She-Hulk. There you go.
I was testing you. You did fine.
She-Hulk Tua.
Yeah, that's another summer thing we can talk about besides the Olympics is the She-Hulk lady.
Hulk Tua.
Hulk Tua lady.
Yeah.
Oh, I Mom, don't Google it.
What were you? Were you a bartender?
I was Pedro.
Yeah.
The bar was initially called Pedro's. They changed it
in the movie.
In the show. And it kind of sucks because you like lose that importance of being in it. You know, it's like Pedro's would have been like, oh, I am Pedro of Pedro's. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like Pedro the bartender at Legalese, which was the name of the bar.
Okay.
So I was like, oh well.
Womp womp.
But it was a really fun time, and like that was one of those moments on set, which was like life defining moment, as I'm a huge comic book nerd.
Okay.
Huge comic book nerd.
Okay.
So being in the Marvel universe was
I see
massive.
You, Highlands.
Big, massive. Like, yes. Couldn't find comic books in Highlands. Had to go to Seneca, South Carolina to get my comic books.
I'm sure there's a bunch of locals in She-Hulk.
There was. It was such a good show to be on. Yeah. And all through those shows on the Disney Plus universe where they were doing all of the like spin-off shows, the WandaVision, a lot of local work in that. But yeah, I got on that, and when I was there to do my costume fitting, it's so big. It's down in Trilith, you know. It's like Monster Studios, and it's our biggest soundstage right now in the Southeast. It's down there in where is it, Fayetteville, or just south of the city a little ways. Anyway,
south of Atlanta. And
we're on the big sound stages, and they're riding around in a golf cart, whatever, and they're like, we're gonna go from here to here, and blah blah blah. And as we pass one giant hangar, I'm look inside, and it's a flat screen like you've never seen before. Like it's like seriously about 30 feet tall.
Whoa.
And like yards long, and it's this big arching like digital flat screen thing. And I was like, whoa, what's that? And I was like, oh, you haven't been here yet. I'll show you. Take a look. And like we pull into this little place, and it's instead of using like full green screen technology, they shoot this in this panoramic so that it looks very much like they're standing there. So the scene that they're like, bring up the Himalayas. So when Doctor Strange like jumps to the Himalayas and is standing on the edge of that mountain, it's like all snowy and stuff. They bring that up, and I'm standing in this panoramic of it.
Did it make you car sick a little bit?
No, it made me like cry because I was standing where Doctor Strange was standing, like I was losing it as this nerd.
Oh.
And I was like, this is incredible. And he's like, oh yeah, man. And he's like, pull up the other one, and we pull up Tony's lab. We pull up all kind of places in the Marvel universe that I'm like standing in.
That's
and I was
really
literally
cool.
like trying not to freak out. And then he was like, what, did you go to costumes yet? And I was like, yeah, I went to wardrobe. He's like, no, did you go to costumes? It's kind of two different things with us. And I was like, oh, not yet. And he was like, well, let's get you all of your costume stuff. And I was like, yeah, of course, let's get me all my costume stuff. And like, he takes me to costumes, which costumes are for superheroes.
Yeah.
Wardrobe is for everybody else. I am everybody else. I am not a superhero, but he doesn't know that. So he takes me to costumes, and I'm like, it's a warehouse, like an Indiana Jones sized warehouse of everything from the Marvel universe.
Oh my gosh.
Millions of Thor's hammers and shields and
all
the Cap's shields and all kind of cool stuff. And I'm literally
were you allowed to touch any of it?
So
were you sniffing it? Were you a sniffer?
I walked in and I like went and grabbed like a sword off this thing, and he was like, oh, you're like one of Doctor Strange's guys. Yeah, we'll get that sword fitted down for you and everything. And I was like, no, I'm Pedro the bartender. And he goes, oh, you don't need a costume? And I was like, no. And like I put the sword back, and he was like, well, I mean, feel free to look around, man. This is like all of our costume work and all this and all the weapon work. And I was like looking at everything.
Did it smell?
It smelled like
BO?
No, like latex. Like it's
all the
fake
plastic stuff.
I was like, I bet
a lot of it's green.
Clean it.
A lot of it's like green, so that you can obviously digitally put what you need. But like I walked over to one of the walls, which was all Cap shields, and I like was reaching. He's like, nah, you can't touch those.
The Captain shields.
You're like, no, I'm Captain America.
I was like, all the Avengers stuff was like completely. You can touch all the like weird bad guy crap, but you can't touch Tony Stark stuff or Cap America stuff.
Oh my gosh!
Cool.
I
got home from that day. I got in my driveway after the fitting and everything, and like.
Did you cry?
Bawling. And Carla was like, what's the matter? And I was like, it's just a huge moment for me to be in the Marvel universe. Like, you don't understand. Like, I'm working my whole life to get to this point, and I got there. I'm there. I was like, I made it.
That's wonderful.
So huge.
That's really cool. Now, did you cry in the house or in the car?
Both.
Yeah, it's so nice to hear about a happy cry in the car.
Very, very
usually
emotional,
the car
very
is
sensitive.
a sad cry. It's an emotional eating.
I got out of the car, stood up, and was like, yeah, it just like hit me because I was just like.
You can like close the door and see your own reflection. Oh,
yeah.
we made it, buddy.
Like, I got you, man. I told you.
Yeah, I remember. I know a bunch of locals in the Disney, and the weirdest thing is like COVID. Obviously, was terrible.
Yeah.
But COVID helped a lot of local actors get in the Disney Plus because most of those roles were slotted for LA talent, and they're like,
couldn't get out of LA.
we can't afford to do this.
Nope.
Because I think like Clayton English was in Hawkeye.
He and I both share the Marvel U.
Yeah, my friend Justin Miles was in the finale of what should we call it? Of She-Hulk. Freddie Boyd was both in. He's like an improv actor. He was both in She-Hulk and he was in Mandalorian. So I mean, it was just like a lot of. It was terrible, but then finally made Disney start hiring local.
It got us. We got a bunch of local work out of it, and it was wonderful. But that day, that's one of those again moments on set that you're like,
I can't believe it. Yeah,
it's like what is happening?
Meeting your God.
It is. It's truly unbelievable. Like
that was your Mecca.
It was. Like I don't know that I honestly don't know that it will get. I mean, I would hope that I get a role that's a little more substantial one of these days. But for that moment for me, that was the top.
That's really cool.
The tippy top for me.
Do you have a fantasy? Cool. I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
Do you have a fantasy of writing comedy, being cast as yourself in a sitcom, old school style? Because I feel like we haven't. I mean, I guess there's Fluffy Guy is Latino and
Gabriel Iglesias, yeah,
Gabriel Iglesias, and
why did you say it like that?
I got nervous. I
didn't even say it like that.
I lost my confidence halfway through his name.
Yeah.
She's like Gabriel Iglesias.
I got scared.
You're a white woman in Buckhead. Where no one's
the
expecting.
dyslexia took over halfway through,
that's
and
not
I was like,
dyslexia,
"I'll just go
that's
out
white
with
guilt."
Yeah, that's guilt.
I'll go out with flair at the end of the word.
So writing a sitcom about myself.
Yes.
And what was the second question?
And then your wife's a comedian, and she is like fun, and you guys have interesting energies and different backgrounds, and it would be like interesting.
So this answers kind of both questions. We've been working on sort of a script of our life of being like, mixed race couple in the South that is trying to do comedy, but also is like, we wanted to write this sort of at the beginning of our like marriage of us like getting together, young couple trying to start a life together, but having these loftier dreams. So we've started to put that together. Well, I should say Carlette started to put that together a little bit more than I have.
The tropes are there, and the guys.
So good.
I think what may be interesting too is both of you like grew up in predominantly white cultures.
Well, she grew up in Queens. So.
Well, no, but she went. Sorry, but she went to Choate.
Go to Choate.
She went to an elite boarding school.
She did.
Yeah, let Amy tell you about your wife.
Let me tell you about Carla.
They've had longer conversations than I've had. So.
Jokes? Oh no. She said, "Well, you guys are getting busy. You don't need to talk so much." Oh. Wink, wink.
As in work, we don't have sex. We're married. Yeah.
A lot of hand holding, or ringing. She has a joke about going to Hootie and the Blowfish concert. That's how white your black wife is.
Yeah.
So
it's not Hootie and the Blowfish. What's the band? We were both there. Dang it. I can't think of it.
Well, she has a Hootie and the Blowfish joke. She does.
She has a Hootie joke, but she also. You're right. Now that I'm thinking of all the references,
I memorized I love her. I'm her biggest fan.
It was Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies. Yeah.
It was she and I and Lace and Holly and Holly's husband. Yeah. We all went.
A fun examination of cultures.
For sure, I think so.
And then because you have your feet in a lot of different cultures and like islands, and you have Puerto Rico,
islands.
Greece. And then the oldest, richest white people on the eastern seaboard.
But then I also have her oldest, richest white people from
Choate.
From Connecticut.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there. We got a lot of
You got
stuff.
a lot. That hits a lot of the demographics.
I think so. I think we could definitely write a sitcom, and I think it'd be a really fun show. So we're working on something like that.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. My other question is, do you have any juicy famous people stories that you want to share on my podcast? No pressure.
Juicy famous people. I don't know how juicy they are. I mean,
like
the day that I was on
not
set,
sexy juicy. Just
the
like,
day that I was on set with Olivia Munn was like incredible because she's very good at like she does a lot of direct eye contact.
Oh,
and she's stunning. Like she's a stunning human being. And the only thing that's juicy about it is me texting Carlette constantly when I'm on set with these gorgeous women, being like, "This chick is so hot." She's like, "I'm not your bro." Like, I get so excited and I don't know who else to text.
You're texting your best friend.
You're like, "Yo, dude,
wants to be your
Olivia Munn
wife.
is giving me a hard. She's like, honey.
Yeah, I was like, Olivia Munn made direct eye contact with me and told me that I had a very interesting name.
God.
She said that was a beautiful and very interesting name while looking at me directly in the eyes. And Carla was like, calm down. I was like, no, this day is the best day.
Like, do you want to have sex with me later? He goes, are you Olivia Munn? No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly.
Wait, it
What are we
says.
talking about?
I think you need a guy friend.
I have guy friends. They just don't. They're like, who? You know? I'm like,
well,
Olivia
maybe-
Munn.
Maybe
Like,
we could make Joel your new best
when I was
friend.
on She-Hulk, Jamila Jamil, who was like
Yes.
one of the like top 3 most gorgeous women in the world to me, both for not only her looks, but she's so hilarious and funny, and she like fights so hard for like body dysmorphia and like just everything she does. And we were in the trailer together, and like I was
You
literally
shared a
like,
trailer with us.
makeup, hair and
okay.
makeup, yeah. She would never.
I was gonna say they do it like.
Jamila Jamil would be like, get out of my trailer. You weirdo. I will say this.
Did you have your own trailer?
Tatiana Maslany was so cool.
Who's that?
She
I need to
played
Google
She-Hulk.
all these people.
She played She-Hulk. She's an Orphan Black. And like, I mean, Tat, if you watch or listen to this pod, dude, you were the best of the best of the best. I have never worked with a better and more professional.
Orphan Black is insane.
Insane.
Did
Is
you
that a
see
TV
like
show?
how they shot that?
Yeah.
Is that a TV show?
It's a TV show.
It's a sci-fi show where she plays eventually like
every character.
maybe 8 different versions of herself, and it's not like they have them all in the same shots, and like they're talking about like the blocking
It's insane.
and camera work on it. But she's great.
She's incredible. And like, she just made me feel like we had been friends for a long time.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm glad. It's you know what I think, and I'm wondering because you know more people than I do that are famous and have met them. Is it true like they actually are? They're famous for a reason. Like they sparkle inside and they make everyone feel like warm.
There's definitely a lot of that. I'll say that. There's some folks that I've met that I've literally been like
prickly.
Yeah, where you're just like, man, you're not that cool. But then like the Marvel universe was incredible. Charlie Cox, who plays Daredevil, one of the most delightful human beings ever, got to sit in the green room and literally nerd gush about how much we liked She-Hulk and how he was so thrilled to have taken his character from one part of the Marvel universe to the other. And we're talking about like different comic book issues of She-Hulk, and we're like, he's like, do you remember like in issue 17? Like we nerded out together, you know. And like Charlie was incredible. He's got that sparkle to him. I think
Yeah.
he's so talented. Tatiana, very talented.
When people talk about Marvel and stuff, I feel the same way I do when they talk about the Bible, and I'm like, yeah, I've heard some things about. I
You're
recognize
like,
that
oh,
name.
I know it, but like,
I think I
couldn't
saw
get
some,
into
like part of that
verses.
movie. I saw part of that movie. The Ten
couldn't get into
Commandments,
verses.
But I can't name all the players. And
I mean, yeah, I will say though that like the Marvel universe is deep and very convoluted now because of all of the work that's been done. But like everyone that I have met inside of that stuff has been.
but no juicy
so good.
like they
No
pushed
one-
an orphan down.
Yeah,
and said I'm a
no.
libertarian.
Nobody,
and
nobody did anything like awful on set. TJ one day on set.
ordering all the drinks is pretty.
That was
juicy.
wild, but there was a day on set where they cut all my scenes. And they were basically like, all right, Mr. Sanchez, you are wrapped for the day. And TJ was like, he's supposed to have another scene. And I was like, whoa, don't do that. Don't. It's fine. I'm just the local. I only had like one line in that scene. It's no big deal. And he goes, no, you're supposed to have a scene with you're supposed to have a scene with Bateman. This is crazy. Hang on, man. Hang on. And he like went to bat for me. But that can backfire so
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
It didn't. They ended up, he was like, I'm sorry, man. I don't know why they cut your scenes. That's bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's really not.
Yeah.
I also like, I'm starting to come up in this world, so like, I don't.
don't
Yeah,
need
you're
to
like,
piss
I'm
off
not famous enough to make us think. Please stop.
Yeah,
Please stop.
exactly.
Please stop.
Stop because
Yeah.
just stop. I don't know how far this will go or what.
Yeah.
That was it. But you know, everybody. I don't have juice in the way that like TMZ would have juice. Like I don't. There's nothing that I've encountered on set that I was
It's
like,
because you have
"Ooh, that
positive
person's
energy and you
awful."
attract positive energy.
I think so. I think everybody that I was with, I was just like, everybody here rocks. Like this is
I
so
think,
much
I think
fun.
this is why people are lucky to hire you too, because they're getting on the exterior like what was it, a butch Latino
Butch?
dangerous.
Are you
what's it
describing
called?
him as a lesbian
Yeah,
right
I
now?
guess, like, I guess I'm a stud now. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I only know gay
Yeah,
ways
I
of
was like,
describing
what?
Boss,
people.
I don't know why they're casting you
Yeah.
as gruff. You're more butch than gruff.
Yeah, you're way more
top
butch.
energy. Fair.
This is oh my god, this is so funny, but we can say it because he's been on the show. David Perdue talked about how many times, I forget what the comic is, but there's like a black lesbian butch comic where so many people will be like, "You look like her." And
Is it Sam J?
Yes. Yeah. And then he talked about it on his podcast, and since I produced for them, and I looked it up, I went, "Ah, shit, man, yeah." He goes, "No." He was like, "Dude," he was like, "At like dark clubs, sometimes I get lesbians hitting on me." He goes, "I'm sorry." And they're like, "Oh, my bad."
It's because he wears so many necklaces.
Yeah, no, he's aware of it.
At dark clubs, I sometimes get lesbians hitting on me.
Dude, he's so aware of it, but like Sam J, when he showed me that, and especially certain pictures, I'm like, dude, you 100%.
Yeah.
And
Sam J's
a
a little shorter than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
David
man.
Perdue came on the show, and he
He's
had
so
this
funny.
special necklace he had specially made out of rose gold.
Yeah.
And then he's a dude. I think it's going
he
to be
does.
much lesbian energy.
Oh, God, I love David.
Oh my gosh.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I was saying is people are lucky to hire you because you do have like this like rough exterior, and then you're like the team builder, helping everyone find the restaurants they need to go to.
I think if you really want to see
kind,
my
joy
most
energy,
honest work,
soft.
look up my scene from MacGyver. I'm really gruff.
You're in
but
MacGyver?
In the end, it's a very sensitive scene.
Really?
I mean, yeah, but I don't. Don't look it up. You know.
I didn't know you're in MacGyver.
Go watch the movie that I was in, which is called Castle Falls. I think you can purchase it on Prime. It might be on Apple TV for free now. It's a Dolph Lundgren movie. You should go watch that one if you want to see the gruff exterior but a nice guy. That's my role for that.
I was going to talk a little bit about summer topics, and then we're going to find out what kind of a nerd you are.
All right, let's do it.
Emily in Paris.
What?
Did you watch it? It's about a chef getting laid.
That is the Bible to me. I know that.
Yeah, why would you like? I love your disconnect.
Yeah, I'm like, what? No, Emily in Paris, not for me. Thank you.
No, okay, well then I take away that gay card
Does that
again.
get rid of like all of those papers? You're just
All those
like,
papers.
well, then
I
never
don't.
mind.
I feel like Emily. I don't know. I've never heard gay people talk about. I've only heard about like like
Trad
moms
wives.
and
Yeah.
trad wives.
It's the plot I cannot follow. I don't know why people
I
are
heard
talking.
there's none.
Well, yeah, no, it's all about the outfits. It's just about let's see what
Why
they
would
wear
I
next.
watch the show?
And it's food. There's food porn.
I
in
see,
it.
I see.
Yeah.
Not to get too off topic, there's a bunch of Bridgerton cosplays. And
I was gonna say,
there
I've
were
watched Bridgerton.
so many Queen
At-
Charlottes this
Yeah.
weekend at Dragon
Oh, so it was
Con.
Dragon Con this weekend
It
in
looked
Atlanta.
So some of them were amazing because some did like crazy hair.
Yeah,
One
the
woman
hair.
straight up just had like the hollow hair with like a teacup.
Yeah.
and, like
Inside of her
All of them were so good.
beehive thing. That's incredible.
They were amazing.
Yeah, you went to Dragon Con.
I did.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in a room and these men are roughed up. They're tired.
Yeah.
Their backs hurt from standing.
We're tired from looking at all the Bridgerton
All
costumes.
the Bridgerton costumes.
Okay,
Good times.
let's find out what kind of nerd you are, my dear
Okay.
friend. I've got to put everyone in boxes. All right. Do you own a cape?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. What kind of cape?
It's like a standard black with a red interior, like a Dracula
Ooh,
cape
red
kind of.
interior.
Yeah.
Is it velvet interior?
It's very like glossy. I don't know what that. It's not velvet though. That'd be.
Do you wear it around the house?
Carlette won't let me.
Oh.
I also have a Puerto Rican flag that I wear as a cape, and she also won't let me wear that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Like a wrestler.
Kind of, yeah, like a boxer. They can wear
Yeah.
a Puerto Rican flag and bounce around and like.
You're
"Woo."
like,
I
baby,
love
it's time to get
to do
romantic.
that. Whenever
you get pumped?
whenever we go to like carnival and stuff is when you're supposed to do that, and she won't let me like fly it in the
So
house.
do you like costumes?
I do.
Okay, you like costumes.
Love costumes.
And you like Dragon Con. That's one of the
do.
questions is
Yes,
do
I
you go to
do.
Dragon Con?
I do.
Costumes. Have you been to Comic Con?
I have not been to Comic Con.
and you like comic books.
I do. I love comic books.
Okay. I feel like you're a little boy in a big boy's body.
I very much am that. Very,
That's
very
just called
much am
being
that.
a grown-up nerd.
Yeah,
I don't,
that's a person in their 40s
Yeah.
that
a
identifies
big
as
boy's
straight
body.
male.
That's what most men. I'm a big boy.
I made it to big boy now.
Yeah.
I'm going to put on my spandex and get my cape on and dance around the house.
If you could wear it normally and people wouldn't judge it, I would every day.
Yeah, that's why you go to Dragon Con.
Yeah. Have you written fan fiction?
Yeah, but when I was like super young.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah, it is.
worse?
Oh, but because my fan fiction was about the Predator, so
I want to know how it's worse.
Because now he's a writer and he could write fan fiction
I
and
could
it can
write
turn into a
fanfic
movie.
now, yeah.
But no, he's this
No,
little isolated Latino boy
was,
in
and I was
Highlands,
like-
Then
North
why-
Carolina, just like, dear diary,
Mine was
I
like,
think
if
the Predator.
Predator-
I like how you're
Jason.
shitting on like this minority baby Vas, like being the only Latino kid there, and you're like, you dumb little bitch.
You
Oh, you
stupid.
making little make believes because you can't connect with the white people around you. Oh, what a fucking little dweeb.
I did push
Yeah.
for the Predator to be more of the hero. Like, I was like, he's not a bad guy.
You know
He's
what?
just misunderstood.
Amy's gonna give you a fucking swirly after
It's
this.
what they, but that's what they're doing now. They're taking all the bad people and turning them into
I was
good.
doing that a long time
Yeah,
before.
you were ahead of the game.
My fanfic was way ahead.
You're ahead of the game, and this is also shows how pure your heart is. It's You're like, they just had a bad day and a
I
bad
was like,
childhood.
Predator just hunting.
Yeah. Did you spend a lot of time alone in the woods?
Alone to some degree, but I had cousins and siblings. So,
You had
yeah.
cousins?
Cousins and siblings, and so we.
So you have a
we'd
tia
play.
with a chancla?
I do. Well, yeah. The Greeks were the ones that moved to North Carolina, though. So
Oh,
I have
okay.
a thea.
Oh.
Thea.
Now, do Greek aunties hit you with their sandals
No,
too?
they hit you with guilt.
Ooh.
Lots and lots of guilt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the, not the stink eye. What's it
It's
called?
the evil eye.
The evil
The
eye.
mati. Yeah, you get that a lot.
Okay. Do you own a sword?
Several.
How North Carolina are you?
I have
Wait,
several
are they
swords.
like reenactment swords or are they like Marvel swords?
No, they're reenactment blades. and we call
Okay,
them blades.
did not. Okay, they're called blades.
I have several swords. Two that were
like Civil War reenactment.
No, one is a hand and a half, a bastard blade that I gifted to a friend of mine for his birthday some time ago, and he was moving and stuff, so he gifted it back to me to hold for now. So I have the bastard blade back
What's
in my
a
possession.
bastard
A hand and a
blade?
half.
What's it? Oh, two. Oh,
So,
like
if
I
you re-
am Antonio Banderas. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
His name was Inigo Montoya, but that's okay.
I was close. I
And
circled the wagon.
Mandy Patinkin. Either way,
Yeah.
I
met him. I met Mandy
I would
Patinkin.
kill to meet Mandy Patinkin. That's a big dream of mine. But no, the sword. If you have like a two-handed sword or a one-handed sword, that's traditional the way they're built. A hand and a half sword is called a bastard blade. And if you read Game of Thrones, Jon Snow's character, the bastard, has a bastard blade.
A bastard blade. So this is all fiction. These your swords that come from. They're not like.
These are real swords. I mean, what's a real sword?
Well, it has to have blood on it from a war.
It does not.
Okay.
I have one that has blood on it because it was ran through my leg during a show that we did. But
Oh wait, what?
yeah, we bought twin Spanish steel rapiers to
Who's
do this.
we?
So this is my very good friend John French.
How
who-
old are you? Paint a picture.
At this time we were in college and we had written this was my senior project. He wrote this incredible script and we did it with pirates, and at the time Pirates of the Caribbean were pretty hot and everything. So we were doing this, and instead of using Schlager steel or stage steel that just makes good noise, we wanted to use real steel. So we used real blades. We practiced for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and then one of them went
Through
right
your
my
leg.
Yeah.
Did you take a stage combat class before you played with
No,
your real
John
knives?
is a professional stage combat instructor.
Teacher?
Though. Mhm.
Okay, did he teach you?
He did.
Obviously
He taught
not
me,
enough.
Called Rip Your Dagger. It was my fault. I didn't pass back. You have to pass back.
Have you ever said huzzah?
Yeah.
I feel like
So
you
many
came
times.
out of the wombs yelling
did.
that huzzah! Highlands?
Have you ever spelled Olympics correctly?
Shut up.
Oh,
you don't wanna
fucking
see my
God.
It says Ollie Mikes.
Oh my God.
I'm dyslexic.
That's so satisfying for how much you shit talk your guest. And then he just.
Okay, right. Okay, so we have a group text chain, and I call it, and it's for you're all on it today. These couples are coming over for pool time, and I said,
yeah.
"Oh, it looks like it's gonna be
A singers party.
A singers party." I tried to say swingers,
But it worked because then Gabby goes, "Oh, I wish it was a swingers party."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Amy's like, "That's what I meant."
That's what I meant. And then I wrote this text out and I didn't send it. I was like, isn't it funny that all of you have more skills than I do and I'm the one with the pool?
You need to send that kind
Yeah, I
of
meant
stuff.
to respond to Gabby's and say that I'm gonna bang her boyfriend, so she's gotta take Rachel.
Boom.
Oh, that's how you do it. That's how you trade in the swingers world. You
I don't
just
know.
dominate and you don't ask.
I think it's called polyamory now.
Yeah. Well, no,
Okay.
swingers and poly are different.
Yeah, I know.
Let's not get our charts out just yet.
Yeah.
Yes, the Olympics. Okay. Have you ever
Olympics.
made your own mead?
No, I've never done a mead ferment. No.
Do you have a tattoo?
I do.
What is it? Something? Okay, let me
He's
guess.
been to your pool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
wear a swim shirt.
I'm a gentleman. I'm not eyeballing the ladies all up and down.
I
Okay.
have 2 tattoos. I did them myself.
Okay, you did?
Mm-hmm. I drew.
How
I drew
crafty
them both.
are you?
Well,
Oh,
I
you
was
did it.
drunk, and then I did this one myself. This
But
one
not with
was,
the.
This was my first one.
Did you draw it and poke it?
I
in?
drew this one, and it wasn't poke. It was with a gun, and I did it with a mirror in my buddy's tattoo shop in Asheville.
Is it
when I
spelled
was
backwards
young.
now?
It was a cross, so it doesn't matter. It's all
Okay.
symmetrical.
Is that for like religion?
You're like, damn, I did the cross backwards.
Early, I used to doodle cross. Damn, I did the cross backwards. I used to doodle this like cross all the time. It's like a Byzantine cross, and I used to like it, and I wanted to put that on my body because at the time I was a little more faithful. Now, this one that's over here.
Are you Greek Orthodox?
I grew up Greek Orthodox.
There's a Greek Orthodox church in Highlands.
There is not.
North Carolina.
We used to have to come down to this one, or the one in Anderson, South Carolina, or the one in Asheville, North Carolina, to do all of our
That's a
Easters
trip.
and stuff. Yeah. No, there's not. But I grew up with all the other stuff like Baptist. You see every week you get to pick a new youth group to hang out with. So, but
that's
both my
true.
tattoos are hilarious, honestly.
So you have a cross, and then
This one was supposed to be like this V shape that I drew that looked kind of like bat wings and everything. And when I put it on my body and the tattoo artist did it, it's absolutely a uterus and fallopian tube. I wonder if I can pull the sleeve up and show you.
Oh my God! It really is
Yeah,
a
yeah.
uterus and fallopian tubes.
And
Okay, so it sounds like you fell in love with your own doodles.
I did. Well, I was a feminist early on.
Yeah, there you go. You're like explaining it to the girl you're hooking up with, like that goes in here,
Yeah, I was
and then
like,
the
"See?
egg comes.
Where I'm gonna come. Gross.
Gross. Okay, so you fell in love with your own doodles enough to put them on your body.
I did. It's
So
very
you're,
selfish.
I think at heart you're a creator.
No, I mean, I think straight up in front. I'm a
Okay,
creator.
so yeah, like your arts, you're doing music, you're doing theater, you're writing your own fan fiction, you're lost in your comic books, you're twirling in the forest, and okay, so you have that energy going. Now let's find out if you have the other nerd. There's 2 energy nerds. There's creative, and then there's linear. Do you know how to do math and stuff? No, you said you were getting
You
around math.
literally just heard him.
Yeah, say he doesn't want
I'm
to
like
math.
not good at math. I like physics though, and I can follow formula, but I'm not very good at like hardcore math. It's weird. I have like both, and it's only because I'm a huge sci-fi nerd.
Do you play chess?
I do.
You like chess?
I do.
That's pretty nerdy. Do you know Morse code?
I do. Yes.
You know Morse code?
I do know Morse.
Have you ever had a ham radio?
A ham radio?
Yeah.
I never owned one, but I've used one. I wish I
Okay.
owned one.
And then, okay,
Amy's gonna make you hang out with her.
Do you like to
husband
play
now.
Jack-
I talked to him the last time I hung out, and we had like a long convo about Dune, which was amazing.
You can talk to anybody. I love my husband, and he's very good at talking to people, but you could talk to
I
anybody.
thought,
He's
I
so
thought you were
warm and
just about to
friendly.
shit talk it. You're like, I love my husband, but Jesus Christ, I gotta do this podcast so I can talk to other people.
Do you like Jeopardy? Like answering?
Oh my God, that's I watch Jeopardy like it's football. Like Carlette will get like you can ask her at 7:30 on the weekdays. Like I'm like I gotta watch Jeopardy. Like
I think you're going for the champion here.
I have literally pushed scheduling around Jeopardy. Like I've been like, oh, I can't. I got a thing at 7:30.
Okay, I wasn't going to ask you all the questions, but you've answered so many of these in the affirmative. I think he's going
Let's go.
up against our grand champion,
Give me more.
Amanda Dobbs.
yeah.
Okay.
Who answered yes to all of them and
Okay.
is the queen of the nerds.
Let's keep it going.
Okay. Unicycle. Ever ridden on a unicycle?
I've ridden both a regular unicycle and an electric unicycle, the motorized new ones.
Oh, that's a new one. That's a new level.
I
know
fell
that
and almost
electric
broke
one.
my ankle. It was insane.
A woodwind instrument.
A woodwind? I played saxophone for years.
Okay. Clip-on. Have you ever owned a clipped-on tie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Have you ever done a Death Star Lego?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to own that one too. They're so expensive.
Soldering iron. Have you ever soldered
Yeah,
anything?
I used to do sound equipment, so solder all the time.
Do you have ever had a Harry Potter wand?
I've never owned a Harry Potter
Okay.
wand. No.
A coin collection.
No.
Okay. And
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily like. It's not like an official coin collection, but I like collecting coins.
That's what that is.
But it's not like you can put them in like little
No, it
boxes
still
and stuff.
counts if you enjoy collecting coins.
I like taking the
Okay.
coins from different countries that I go to, and I keep at least one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see,
okay.
that's a coin collection.
Okay. You're going for the championship here. Have you ever had an aquarium?
You know what? No, I have not. I had
Like a
a terrarium.
fishbowl.
I had a
Terrarium, that's
terrarium.
nice.
I thought you were about to say like, no, I didn't have an aquarium. I did have, some water with a lot of fish in it. But
I do like to collect fish.
Yeah.
So humble.
Put
You're
them
so
in a
humble.
box. I had a terrarium. I kept 3 or 4 spiders. No.
You had spiders in your terrarium? That's so nerdy. Did you name? You loved your spiders.
I loved those spiders. I named them after the Ninja Turtles. I had 4 of them. They were women. It was so stupid. They ate each other.
They ate each other?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay.
You should keep one spider in there.
Okay, so you've done ham radio, you've done Morse code. Have you been to band camp?
Mm-hmm,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
That's how I got into the college I was in, because I went to a band camp.
That's right. Bible camp?
Yeah.
You did?
God, I grew up in the South.
Yeah. Okay. Science camp?
Oh, yeah, I did. I went to a cadaver camp where you learn how to dissect dead human bodies.
Oh my God. I cannot believe. If you had asked me this morning when I knew you were coming on my podcast, were you going to be the king of the nerds? I wasn't going to say
Carlette has called me a nerdle my whole life. She's like, you fucking nerdle.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever framed a puzzle?
No, never framed one.
Do a wedding at Disney, yay or nay?
As in, have I done one?
Have you been one, dipped to one?
I've never been to one.
Okay.
Do I approve of it? It sounded like you were like, yay or nay.
Would you do it?
I would, 100%.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, you've already said huzzah. Have you ever gone through a phase in your life where you wore a costume more than like one day, like in a row? You're like, I'm this now.
100%.
What was it?
Oh man, I think I've done that a couple of times. I feel like a couple of times. We can start from when I was a kid. I had Batman pajamas. Right?
Yeah.
And when I put them on, I was like, these aren't pajamas. Like
this is me now.
This is me now.
This is me now.
So much
Okay.
so that I wore them underneath my actual clothing several times. And then as an adult, I'm going to tell you this and you can't.
Okay.
Like
Is it women's underpants underneath your clothes right now?
They are. It's a shirt that I bought to play the Hulk for a comedy roast that we did. And it's this green Under Armour, the company. It's a stretchy shirt, but it's got like a very graphic painting of like the Hulk's chest and abs and like everything. So when you put it on, without anything else, it looks like I'm ripped. And I was wearing that thing under my clothes for a minute because I was just like, it made me feel really good. I was like, look how strong I can look.
I could get like a t-shirt where it has like really big fake boobies on it.
It's like that, but it's green and it's the Hulk's muscles. So it's like that. It's like having one of those tux shirts. It's like that.
Okay, have you ever made your own clothes?
No.
Have you ever said this is that's not canon?
Oh yeah. Like a lot.
Have you ever had a birthday party for a pet?
Yeah.
Yes? Have you ever made a costume for a pet?
No.
Okay. We did tattoos. Do you have binoculars for looking at birds?
I don't, but I'd love to own them. Everybody that has them, like when I go to somebody's house.
Your wife has them.
Yeah.
She's not telling you where they are. Yes. Those are her binoculars.
I want those.
What's the longest sitting you've ever done for a video game or a board game? D&D, Settlers of Catan, Magic the Gathering, etc.
Okay, do you want me to answer for each of those?
No. Just like the one that gave you a
longest?
hemorrhoid.
Probably Warcraft fantasy roleplay. We played. The longest game I played was probably like a 10-hour session on that. We like started with breakfast, and then we had breakfast, lunch, and dinner all sitting at the table, still playing, going.
10 hours. Yep. Okay. Have you ever been to a Rush concert?
Yeah. 4 Rush concerts.
Oh, do you have a car?
I met Neil Peart. Geddy Lee recognized me at Bonnaroo backstage.
I don't know what any of those words
Geddy
were,
Lee
but
is
I'm
the
excited.
lead singer of Rush and bass player.
Oh my God. Well, we gotta text my husband right now.
Oh man, I should tell him.
Okay. He recognized you?
I had met Geddy Lee here in Atlanta when I rigged his show up at what is it called now? It used to be called Encore Park. What is it now? Verizon Wireless Amphitheater back in the day. It's one of those amphitheaters. America's Best, whatever that is. So we were up there doing the show, and Geddy is one of the nicest people. And after we teched the show, he was just hanging out kind of on the side stage, and we were just chatting. He was very, very kind. Like, how long have you been doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And, I'm like, I can't believe I'm talking to Geddy Lee. Like, Geddy Lee, this is so cool. And we just clicked. We just had like a really nice conversation. The show ended. I did 2 more Rush shows that summer. And then a year later at Bonnaroo, I was backstage for Beach Boys. And I was standing on the side of the stage, and I like looked to my left, and I'm like, it's Geddy. He's like standing right next to me. And I don't like to assume. I'm like, he doesn't know who I am. We're just hanging out. And he like catches eyes with me. I'm like, what's up, man? Like, we're just listening to the Beach Boys. And he goes, Vas, right?
Oh my God.
And I was like, and I'm dead and dying. And I was like, yeah. He was like, you still in Atlanta? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, Geddy. I was like, I know who you are. Like, He was so nice. He's
That's
like,
wonderful.
and it was one of those moments too. Like this is one of those crazy meta moments where a legend who is Rush leans over and is like, "How cool is it that we're watching the Beach Boys right now?" And I was like, I mean, for me, bro, extra levels. Like that statement was shared with me with Geddy Lee. That's my Rush answer. What next?
I've never. This is
I had
fantastic.
signature Neil Peart drumsticks as a drummer. Keep going.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, you just nerded that up times two.
Oh, it's so much. I love Rush.
Have you ever had a card collection like Pokemon or baseball? Or
Magic
anything
the
like
Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
And comic book cards. I have a huge Flair collection.
Okay. Have you ever owned or held a tropical bird?
Yes.
Okay.
Held, never owned. Would love to
Like
own.
on vacation?
Yeah, wherever tropical birds are sold. I have gripped one.
Do you know all the words to a musical?
Yeah.
Which one?
Les Mis.
Les Mis. Oh my God.
Fan of the opera.
Did you get into it when you were a teenager in the
100%.
forest?
Love that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you Patty certified to do scuba dive or anything like that?
I am not certified, but when I was a lifeguard, I had to scuba train. So
Oh, did you ever have a perfect attendance award?
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Have you ever been stuffed in a locker?
I was too big for it, but I'm sure that the thought crossed their mind.
Okay. You've done it. You have won. This is amazing. Congratulations. I feel like you are the king of the nerds of the Nerdy 4 podcast. We have a queen, Amanda. Now we have a king.
Let's go.
I did not see that coming.
I want to hang
feel
out
like,
with Amanda.
you guys, I feel like this is a sign from God that I need to continue with our very, very important work we're doing here.
Yeah, I think so.
That I took a break and I came back and we have a reigning champion.
But I feel so seen. So this is really important stuff.
And this also goes to show you never know. You never know from looking from someone's exterior.
This is Ren
what's
Fair for
going.
Huzzah.
What's
You
going?
spelled it wrong.
Shut up!
It says Hizza.
Stop reading.
It says Hiza.
Stop reading.
Huzzah is
I don't read.
Huzzah.
You need to stop reading.
Did I get extra nerd points for knowing how to spell huzzah?
Yes, you do. Of course you do.
Hizza is a disease,
You're the
right?
king. I need to make
It's a Hizza violation.
it's a violation. I need to make like proper crowns for the king and the queen
Or
of
capes.
the nerds.
Could have capes.
Oh my gosh.
Scepters. That's what we need. Scepters.
Oh my gosh, you'll start pretending to beat people with it and you'll cut your leg open.
It's possible.
I think capes would be good. I'll work on it. I'll work on a whole outfit and then we'll have maybe we should have a nerd off and have you and Amanda and I'll have a whole new set of words,
you can get a
of questions.
Dragon Con float.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so cool.
I'll get a whole new thing of questions and we'll see
Nerd
who
4
wins.
podcast.
Yeah, the grand champion because there can only be one.
Highlander quote. Or did you know that?
She
No.
didn't.
You didn't. You've only ever heard there can only be one. And the thing is, it comes from a very nerdy thing.
Highlander, is that the one where the lady goes back in time so she can bone more people?
That is the Outlander.
That's
and
it.
That's very different. Highlander, being that I'm from Highlands.
That's right. You're
That's
the
right.
yeah.
I am the Highlander.
You are the Highlander.
original Highlander.
You are a time traveler. I feel
But they
like
don't
you're
say
an old
the
soul.
Highlander. They just say
don't. It's just
Highlander.
Highlander.
You're an old soul.
I think so, perhaps.
Yeah.
I
Definitely
think
feel like
you're
I've been here
very-
a couple times.
You're fascinating. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on social media at _Vas_Sanchez_.
That's too many underscores.
It's the worst. I couldn't get my name. I couldn't get just Vas Sanchez.
That's because the Latino people all name their children the same name.
It's insane.
There you go.
We have a Jose Martinez.
Unoriginal.
Couldn't do it. So yeah, at the Vas Sanchez on pretty much everything. On Twitter, I'm never on anything but Instagram really, and on TikTok, and both of the handles are the same at the Vas Sanchez.
Yes. Oh, and you teach? Do you still teach?
Carlette and I
Acting?
sometimes do acting classes
And do you,
and
like-
coaching. We definitely do. I do dialect coaching. I do on-camera coaching. Any of that stuff.
If you
Happy
have
to
an
help.
audition, can someone hire you for a one-off to help with that?
100%. Or if you're on set and you need help while you're on set with an on-set coach to help you lock in a dialect or help you with any kind of character work, period stuff, any of that stuff, I can help. I can do all that for you.
Wait, do you do accents?
I do. It's like
He's great at accents.
The hard part about my
I-
accent work is that because of my look, I'll never really get cast as any of those things, but I can do them. So I really would love to do any kind of voiceover work, but that's a hard thing to break into.
Right? What's your what's Carlette's favorite? Your wife's favorite accents that you do?
I think she hates when I do accents.
Oh no!
She doesn't hate them, but like she knows that I can do. I think her favorite is probably when she is a huge loves everything British, right?
Yes.
So when we watch that stuff, I slip in and out of different British accents just to mess with her, and she likes that because it makes her giggle. But
Nothing romantic then.
no, when we were first dating, I think it worked a little here and
Yeah.
there, but given that she could actually speak Spanish and had hooked up with Spanish men, and it was like, well, I've had the real thing, so you're a little fake. You know? Like,
She didn't enjoy your
your
performance.
little Antonio Banderas impression is like womp womp womp.
You got a bad review from your wife. That's
But
rough.
yeah, I love doing accents. Accents are my favorite. But yeah, like Scottish and Russian are always like the fun ones that people get really like, "Ugh," like those can bother people.
Can you do like a quick one?
Which one?
Both those.
Scottish. Yeah, we can do Scottish. I can stay in it though. Once you're in Scottish, it's hard to leave it. Once you're in it, it's hard to leave. It's just staying there, you know?
Ayo.
Have you been?
We're
Where you
gonna
been?
be in the pool and we're gonna be doing this all afternoon
And
now.
it's going to piss everyone off. They hate it. They fucking hate it.
They hate it. There's a lot of breath behind that. All right,
It's a Hebridean accent.
Hebridean. Hebridinos. I just made Joel make a terrible face. Thank you, people, for waiting for me to come back. And I'm sorry I had depression. If you have depression, DM me. We'll stick together.
Don't apologize. You shouldn't apologize. For things.
That's
No,
true.
I feel bad about your mental illness.
And I'm sorry I'm dyslexic and I can't spell Olympics.
You can apologize for that. You spelled Ollie Mikes. Ollie Mikes and Hizza. Those are rappers.
It sounds like a rash. Oh, God. I know you do not want to see any of my notes or journals.
I want to. I want to read all of that stuff.
You won't be able to. It's in a secret language.
It is.
I wrote this note to this boy who I was breaking up with in college, and he was talking to his friends, and I found out later, he's like, oh, my God, her father must have been Forrest Gump.
You're like, did you write this cross-eyed?
Oh, good times, good times.
The
All
best.
right. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
the
you for
show,
having
buddy.
me. This was awesome.
Mwah.
Wow, I love
Yay.
this.